Good evening, good evening. Welcome to Live in Conversation. We are back again once more on this Wednesday night. Welcome to my co-host Daphne Chameleon. How you doing this evening?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing great. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. So, it's been a little bit over a month now since we've been doing Live in Conversation. How you feeling about that?
It's good. It's good. I think we're learning a lot, and I hope everybody paying attention is learning a lot as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, first of all, I just want to thank everyone who's been through this journey with us. Obviously, it's a process. We are learning ourselves, and I'm sure they're learning too. And also to all of you who's been coming live with us to share this information, we certainly appreciate you. And tonight, it's gonna be more information, okay, more knowledge, more wisdom for all of us to go ahead and succeed. Anything you want to add, Daphne?
No, just looking forward to our topic tonight.
Yes. So about the topic, September is actually Life Insurance Awareness Month. I know 2 weeks ago, we kind of did a segment. It's like it was a semi segment about the importance of life insurance, because our format was I shared in a topic and then you also share a topic. But we've changed our format. So for those of you who've been watching us, we've changed our format where each week is gonna stay on one topic. So tonight is gonna be the importance of life insurance because we are honoring Life Insurance Awareness Month. So as always, and Daphne, you just want to give the disclaimer. You usually do a pretty
Oh,
good
sure.
job doing that.
Just to say, our anything that's talked about this evening is for informational purposes only. Renee is not your personal financial advisor, so if you want to make an appointment with her, you can do that. But all of this information is information for your informational purposes only. To kind of give some people some backgrounds about life insurance. So, like I said, contact Renee if you want to have one-on-one conversations about your situation.
Awesome. And also, again, especially for our community, maybe the Haitian community or maybe the middle class community, it's important that you go ahead and share this information with people you care about, people you love, people you think that might need to hear this information. So that's all I want to say right now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. What do you think, Daphne?
Yeah, go ahead. No problem.
All right. So basically, tonight, as I said, in honor of Life Insurance Awareness Month, we're going to be discussing the importance of life insurance. But then the way I put it, it's by having a key financial foundation. So a lot of time this morning, I was live where I broke it down. So I'm just gonna simply explain it here. Every time when we go to work, okay, we go to work, we have like our 401ks. So when we look at our financial foundation, we're looking at a triangle like that's upside down this way, okay. Yeah, I'm trying to do the triangle, my bad. Our financial home is upside down. The reason is because we start with our 401k planning or retirement planning. So for those of us maybe who work for the government or who work for a non-for-profit, then these are the 457 and 403b. All of these are tax code that helps us to save for retirement. Okay, so we are looking at our financial home and we starting with our retirement, which is not a bad thing. But the problem is that when we put all our money there or most of our money there, and most of the time we don't really have a lot of knowledge about how this money is being saved, how it's being invested, and kind of the rules and regulation in regards to how liquid it is and how soon can we take it out, and then how it's being invested, especially right now with the economy, and with corona right now, we have most of our money in the our retirement account. Then we go to the second level of our financial home, which is our savings. Okay, for those of us who are maybe disciplined, to be able to save instead of doing the 401k, I guess like the forced retirement, because technically it's being withdrawing from our account, and then so it's forcing us to save. But some of us may be able to save, or on our own. So, but then it's really not helping us save, because a lot of time it's so liquid, we're always touching it. We always emergency happen, we always, going in there. Holidays, we go in there. So then the next level of a financial home then goes down to real estate. So we go and buy a home, and we're trying to have the American dream, which is normal because we want to create legacy. But what most of us never, now I wouldn't say never think about, but kind of put far in the back of our head, is life insurance. So when we think about life insurance, we're like, oh, okay, maybe that's something I need, but we don't really put it a priority. So our financial home is upside down because we're starting from the riskier thing, and then we don't really have the life insurance that's gonna protect this home. So technically, the way of financial home can be on the solid ground is first by starting for life insurance. Is to have a robust policy that's going to protect your home. Okay, because if you work so hard to have this retirement account, and then to have this home, but then you don't have the life insurance necessary to protect it, then when life happen, now maybe you get sick, you cannot work, because you don't have life insurance to be a solid foundation, then you may end up losing that home. And then because you don't have life insurance, okay, your saving now could potentially be depleted, and then your 401k could potentially be depleted because life insurance is not the solid foundation. So, in honor of Life Insurance Awareness Month this September, I want to encourage all of us to make it a priority for life insurance to be our solid financial foundation. I hope this makes sense. What do you think, Daphne?
Yes, yes. I did. Go ahead. I was gonna say
No,
I
no,
did
go
have
ahead. No, I'm listening to you.
a couple of questions. Um, like, what kind of issues does, or problems does life insurance can solve?
That's a great question. Typically, when I am, most people when I talk to them, which is normal because people have like the knowledge of the old life insurance. Okay, there was a time when life insurance only protected, help people during death. So if somebody passed away, then
Hmm.
they give the family that benefit. So it's like when you had the rotary phone.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's the hotel refund version of life insurance. But now all of us have smartphones. Okay. We can do so many things with our smartphones now. This is the same thing how the insurance industry have evolved. So yes, most of us know life insurance covers death. Somebody passed away, it helps to pay for the person funerals, and whatever is left over maybe pays for the person death, and then maybe have a little extra money to help the family. Yes, we are correct about that. But the second thing that most people don't know of, which is kind of a new addition to life insurance, is that it has living benefits. Okay, so if you and I, we know that the aspect of the living benefits will be more open to actually look into that vehicle to help protect ourselves and our family. So what does living benefit means? So it basically says that if you were to get diagnosed with a chronic illness or a terminal illness, instead of the company holding the money to just wait for you to pass away, they're going to be able to give you a large portion of that death benefit. You can choose to use it however you want. It is tax free. You get to decide. Maybe it's to pay your medical bills. A lot of people go bankrupt because they get sick, they end up losing their home because of how expensive it is for medical care. Or maybe you want to create a legacy for your family, and you say, well, I want to maybe start a business or go into real estate, something solid that I can leave for my family. So yes, so that's another option. And then the third option is life insurance have cash value. So the first problem is it solves death. Okay, definitely it does not replace the person. All it does is it replaces the economic value that this person provided to the family. And then the second one is sickness. So if the person were to get sick, basically they can go ahead and use part of the policy, to take care of their needs, to continue to pay their bills. Maybe they stop working, they can continue to do that. And then the third option is long life. So people might think that living long is not a problem. It's actually is a problem when you're living long and you are out of money, because social security is not gonna be enough, and most of us are not disciplined enough to save for our retirement. So therefore, a life insurance policy can solve that problem by basically uh, creating a cash value that allows us to withdraw from this cash value to be able to, as a loan, to be able to supplement our retirement income. So this is the three problems that life insurance solve.
And who should have life insurance? Like, who needs life insurance?
I mean, that's a great question. As an agent, I will tell you everybody need life insurance, which is true. But let's break it down, okay? And then so before we even go into that, I just want to ask anybody who is maybe listening right now. And as a matter of fact, let me make sure I'm sharing this to your page as well, Daphne. Uh, so anybody who's listening right now, I just want to ask you three questions, okay? First of all, can you say for certain that there will be a day when you could potentially get sick or die? If it's possible that there will be a day that you can potentially get sick or die, that's a reason to have life insurance. Or let's just say there's somebody who depends on your income, then you need life insurance. Okay. And then the third option is if you think that there's gonna be a day that you will get sick or you will pass away, and then you can potentially become a burden for someone, for your family member, that's a reason to have life insurance. So with that being said, we can even break it down into further category. If we're married, okay? If we're married, I remember we did that before when I said sickness. And then so it's actually sickness and then health, right? But I am adding the death. Because it is important that when we marry, we say that we will take care of each other from sickness and in health. So a lot of time when one of us gets sick, if we don't have the proper insurance to help us that have living benefits, then it's really a disadvantage to the family, because now this person have to take the burden of the household, and then they actually have to take the burden of taking care of whoever is sick. Okay, so if you are married, you need to have an independent life insurance policy. So I do have to, in another one I will talk about that. An independent policy is a policy that you have ownership of outside of your employer. So that's the type of insurance that I'm speaking about tonight. If you are a parent, a lot of time we parents, we spend so much money on our children. Even like if we have two kids, we go to one McDonald's trip, I'm pretty sure we're spending at least $30 on that day. Would you agree with me?
Oh yes, oh yes.
Okay. But then we are so easy to spend 30, 40, $50 on a restaurant trip. But when it comes to having a solid foundation that helps to protect us and our loved ones, sometimes there's an objection to that. And maybe it's because people don't really see life insurance as an investment, but they see it as an expense. it's really not an expense. It is an investment because it gives you something in return. So with that being said, if you're a parent and you have to ask yourself, God forbid something were to happen to me today, okay? Will my children have the solid financial foundation that's going to be able to allow them to have the lifestyle that they could have had if I was still living, if I was still present? Or maybe I get sick, okay? You don't have to pass away because we get sick, we can no longer work. That happens. So if that were to happen, will our children continue to have that the lifestyle that they would have had if we could have provided for them? And so therefore in that essence we have to protect our income. So we're not protecting our life in essence, but we are protecting the economic value that we provide to them. And then the other thing is, so who's going to be responsible for your children? Because at the end of the day, I have two kids. So if God's forbid something were to happen to me and I don't have a solid financial foundation, which is life insurance, then I'm expecting somebody else who did not bring these kids into the world to end up taking care of them. And then I know in our culture, we say mom is the only one who can take care of their child. So I'm just gonna leave it like right there. So yeah, when we're parents, we have to be responsible to do that. A homeowner, okay? So home ownership is important. I know a lot of us we go to work, and then we go and buy a home, a condo, whatever it is. But then if we go and make that large investment, but then we don't have the life insurance to protect it, then it defeats the purpose. So a home, when you are a homeowner, you need life insurance. If you're a business owner, we talked about that in a different segment before, you need life insurance to protect the business. And if you're an employee, and we just talk about that, because we're thinking that a lot of time when I'm talking to my clients, they want life insurance. Lord, I have two kids.
Your family wants to make a debut. Mine already did.
Lord have mercy.
Family night.
Oh, family life. I love this though. I love this is what I do it. This is why I do it. It's for them.
Yeah,
I
this
will
is
always
real
pick my
life though.
kids.
No, it's
I'm
real
sorry.
life.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
live and it's real life, you know.
That's what I'm gonna have you pick up for me for a second. Add some if you guys have questions, comments, go ahead and talk to Daphne for me for 1 second.
No, no problem.
Give the people your thought about this life insurance that we've been talking about, Daphne.
Yeah, no,
All
sure.
right.
Life and well, I'm a consumer just like you guys, all just living life normally as everyone else is, and just knowing the importance of life insurance. Just like Renee's a family woman, and her kids one needed her attention. It's unexpected. It's not it's unexpected, and just like unfortunately um, life insurance, when we need it. For example, we traditionally think about death, and that can be unexpected as well. But life insurance can be used in other aspects and other ways. Renee is Renee will be explaining that to us too, the different ways that life insurance can be used. And it's just, I think she kind of mentioned that we usually think about it just as death and paying for a funeral and expenses and paying off debt, but people use life insurance in other ways as well. I think she'll get into that as well as far as investments and just going forward with that. Are you back with us, Renee? No. So I'll wing it. what other ways? I think I was talking to her the other day, and she was saying how I had never heard of this, but the investment aspect of it, I guess the money, a lot of insurance policies, I guess you'd have to, if you already have life insurance, you may want to look into this, or if you're getting life insurance, you want to find this out. But so you almost use it as, for example, you know, how sometimes you need to pull money if you have an emergency situation or you're trying to do something, all the money you invest each month. So if you pay your policy, you pay like $100. I think if I know this, Renee could explain it more clearly. But if you were to pay $100 a month for life insurance for you and your spouse, or just you, depending on what your policy is, it could be cheaper than that. Depends how old you are, your health, etc. But let's just say $100 a month, and after a year, that's $1,200, right? And then of course that money is growing and accruing interest and all this as well. But let's say you do that for 5 years. That's about my math, doing math, like $6,000 roughly. So if it's $6,000, that's the money you put in. Your policy may be worth way more. The money you put in with interest is worth way more. But if you needed that money for something, you could, I believe, borrow against it, and take it out and go ahead and use that for investment purposes. But imagine you pay life insurance for 20 years and you needed it after 20 years. You can take the money out, not the interest that it gains, but you can take the amount, the exact amount you took out. You can take it against your life insurance, like borrow it, and you pay it back. But just having that option is for financial situation, especially like I say investment. Also, just in case you have a major emergency, and you don't have to go against, have to take from your 401k, and you don't have to borrow against your house. This is just another option that you should consider. So is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am, you got this.
I've been
You
listening.
got this. That's
I've been
the attorney coming. So
right.
this was Daphne Chameleon. She's an attorney in the Chicago area. So obviously she helped with trust and wills. And so these are also great things to have in addition to your life insurance. So if you ever need assistance with doing that, her information is going down below. So definitely reach out to her, because a lot of time we don't really understand how to structure those things. So it's always best to have an attorney do it. So yeah, thank you, Daphne, for adding that. Um, so let's get back to who needs life insurance. My
Right.
biggest objections comes from single people, right? The young, the single, they say, well, why do I need this? And it's really unfortunate, because when you are young, this is the best time to have life insurance, because it's when you most people are in the best health at a younger age. So right now you're taking advantage of this good health. And then also not single people get sick too. Single people pass away too. So is it really somebody else's responsibility if God forbid you are to pass away or to get sick, and then for them now to carry the burden of taking care of you? It's really not. And then so as responsible adults, everyone need to consider having an independent life insurance policy, regardless regardless of the age. Okay? So go ahead and ask the next questions for me, Daphne.
So how much should a person get? Like how do you determine, like, if somebody is 25, should they go ahead and get a $2 million life insurance policy, or if you're 50, should you go ahead and get a $2 million, or what makes the most sense? How do people figure out how much to get?
That's a great question. I'm going to answer that for you in 1 second.
And well, Renee will let us know when she gets back. But I also think I was going to ask her a question about. I believe she'll probably explain it. The younger you are, the cheaper it is. right? Is that correct?
The younger you are, the cheaper it is. That's correct.
Right.
That is definitely correct. You get that. So how do people figure out how much do they need? So we have a formula called dime, just like the 10 cents dime.
Mm-hmm.
It's called dime. And so the way we calculate that is that even though I'm talking right now about life insurance, a lot of people have life insurance, but most of them are underinsured because they don't really know how much do they need. And then also because they depend on the employee sponsored life insurance, then therefore it's really about the burial cost. And so for a family, maybe a single person just wanna be buried, that's it, and maybe they don't wanna leave any legacy, then that's fine too. But then for a family, an employee benefit is not really the best thing to have. So when we're looking at dime, okay, so when we are looking at dime, D for stand for debt. So first of all, you have to calculate how much debt do you have, because I mean I'm not gonna give you maybe a state that's a question for Daphne. So whether you have to pay your debt or not after you pass away, that's up to you, and then have this conversation with Daphne Chameleon. But if you wanted to choose to pay your debt so that you don't become a burden, or people are not knocking at your door contacting your family after you pass away, find out how much debt you have, and then the I stand for income. So the income is how much money do you provide to your family on a yearly basis. Okay? And then I would suggest just calculate the gross. Don't go about the net. Net income is poverty income for most people. So go about the gross. And so with that being said, and then now that you know what your gross is for the year, multiplied by how many years that you want your family to continue to have that yearly income. So how many years are they going to be depending on that income? So for example, if you have a 5-year old, and then maybe you want to provide for your 5-year old till they're 20 years old. So which means that you're gonna multiply whatever you make by 15 years. Make sense? So that's how you calculate the income. So first we have the debt, we add the income for the how many years that we want to continue to provide that income. So basically saying that if I was still alive for the next 10, 15 years, my family will benefit from the income that I provide. M is mortgage. So if you have a home and then
Mm-hmm.
you want to make sure that the house is paid off, and so whatever the balance, okay, that is on the house, then you go ahead and add that as well. And then the E is for education. So maybe if you have a child and then you want to pay for the education, then you will add how much money you want to provide towards the education. So when you have all that numbers together, you add them together, that's your insurable need. For a lot of us, if we are generous, we want to create generational wealth. We want to give our family peace of mind. If we were to add this number, it could be around 500,000, a million. But do not be discouraged. There's way to structure it to be able to help you get there. Because at the end of the day, for example, the mortgage is something that most people have it for 30 years. So there's a way to structure it to get you to your insurable need with at minimum cost as possible. So don't get scared by that. So that's basically how go ahead and do this calculation just for, even let's just say you don't even need life insurance. Go ahead and do it for yourself as an exercise to see how underinsured that you and your family potentially are just by your dime calculation. Was that
I
a good explanation?
yeah. Um yeah. So I was wondering. So um no, I'll ask you in a second. I'll think about this. But I had another question about so I know there's multiple types of life insurance, and what is the so I it's like it's a multi-layered question. So it's what is the, I guess, what are the different types, and then also what are there, I mean, I know that there's term, I know you'll explain term, whole life, and annuity, but also like is there a life insurance that's better for age? So if somebody is 25, does it make more sense for them to get whole life because maybe it's cheaper, or does it make more sense for them to get term? But then if they're only 25, and let's say they get term for 30 years, right? That means at 55, the insurance will be up. So what makes the most sense? So, or if the person is um, 55, does it make, and they're getting insurance, does it make more sense to get term because they'll be 85 when it's up if it's 30 years, or does it make more sense to get whole life? Does that make
So
sense? A
yeah,
lot
it
of
certainly does make sense. Yeah, it makes sense. That's a good question. And I'm sure maybe different people have that question as well. And as a matter of fact, if you any of you watching right now have any question, feel free to comment, post it on the comment. We'll be more than happy to answer it for you. So to answer your question, Daphne, it really depends because at the end of the day, the client is who is in charge of the type of policy that they want. Okay, so with that being said, we don't want to put any client on a situation that defeats the purpose because if they don't really have the money to continue to sustain, to pay for that policy, it defeats the purpose. Because
Mhm.
as insurance agent, we technically have to do the right thing, the ethical thing, to ensure that we protect ourselves and we protect our clients. So a young person may think that, well, like you said, if I'm 25 and I take a 30-year term, by 55 I'm out. It's like I lose all that insurance. But then the answer that we'll have for them is, can you afford right now the whole life? We usually go with index universal life. And then so if we help them to if we help them look at into the budget, and there's a way for us to do that. If we help them look into the budget and see that, okay, yeah, we definitely can afford a whole life, then therefore the good answer is go whole life
Okay.
because you get the cash value. Okay, the cash value is gonna help you to replace supplemental retirement income. It's going to help you. Maybe you wanna invest, you wanna buy a home, you wanna start a business. Whole lives give you the benefit of cash value. So yes, go whole life. But what if they don't have the budget for whole life? Then go with term. So the way I don't know if every company is like that, but the way the companies that I work with, when a client starts with a term, depend on the age, they do get a certain amount of years to go ahead and to convert it to a whole life,
Mhm.
regardless if the health status changes or not. Okay, they will have the benefit to convert it based on the health status they were at when they initially got the policy. So it's a win-win situation.
Mhm.
So depending on the age, maybe some people will have 5 years to convert it. Some people may have 10 years to convert it. So I have clients who have 15 years to convert it. So it's always better to get something instead of nothing. And really, term give you a lot of buck for your money. It gives you a lot of debt benefit for your money, but at the downside, just like you explained, it expires. But then I guess not letting expire, then go ahead and convert it before during that time frame that they give you to convert it. So did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome, awesome. All right. Anybody else have any question? Go ahead and share this information. September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. It is important that we in our community take advantage of these vehicles that keep us safe, that keep our loved ones protected, so that we build generational wealth and that we continue to care for one another, regardless if we get sick or regardless if we pass away. All right.
I did have a
You had
another
another
question.
question? All
Yeah.
right.
Why do you think people don't get life insurance?
That's a good question. I think I've been talking about, like, I kind of answer it here and there.
Mhm.
It might be due to the fact that, based on some conversation, people don't really understand it. And then so a lot of time when people don't understand something, then they procrastinate about it, or they just don't think it's important, or maybe they don't have maybe family who've done it before, who's taken care of it before. And so if that's the way the family has been, no one had life insurance, everybody's always putting money together to bury the loved one, then there's no one setting the example. Okay. And then so because it's not being taught on the family level, then when an agent such as myself then reach out to some person and they may not understand it, and then plus they don't have, if they go back to the family and say, this is what this person talked to me about, but this you asking advice from someone who's not in the field.
I
And
tend
so
to
when we're taking advice from people who don't really understand the industry themselves, then it really defeats the purpose. And so we have to really, that's why we have a distribution problem in the life insurance industry. So it's always been people go and knock at people's door and say, okay, I'm here to sell you life insurance, and then they explain it to them. But that's not the case anymore. Uh, uh, I've never had anybody knock at my door to sell me life insurance. I don't know about you.
no.
Okay. So that's non existent. So that's why we need a team of people who are dedicated, who's gonna learn this information, and now they can become advocate for the family, they can become advocate for the community, and technically be advocates for this country. Because at the end of the day, when a community is building wealth, it's good for everyone. Okay, wealth, gives us protection. We can do a lot when it comes to wealth. We have so much power when it comes to wealth. But if we continue to live in communities where we don't really understand finances, we're not really taking advantage of different vehicles that allows us to go from maybe one class to another, then it becomes a problem, because it is a continuous cycle. So when the cycle continue, people are gonna keep to having doubt about the insurance industry. So I guess, like, my to answer it, it's maybe a lack of knowledge, and then plus, even I say it's a lack of knowledge, but also at the end of the day, people have to be open minded,
Right.
because it's the same thing that a lot of different communities are taking advantage of. It's available to our community as well. So it's up to us whether we'll take advantage of it, or whether we will continue to live in a cycle of GoFundMe to GoFundMe.
Right.
Okay, did that answer your question?
You did. I did mention the fact that and I wanted to see if you wanted to not like want to say expound on what I said about earlier when you were gone a little bit, just about how life insurance is used for investment purposes, and like I know we talked about that, just like just looking at it in a different way, and like maybe
Exactly.
examples of people who actually did use it for investment purposes.
Exactly. So we had there's so many different companies who depended on a life insurance policy cash value to finance the business. Okay, so if you go to my mentor's Metsapala Seven Figure Squad, you can listen to his video about millionaires who are currently millionaires due to them taking advantage of the cash value of the insurance policy. So this is something you and I have access to as well. We can start a business, buy properties, invest in our children education, just by the fact that we purchase a life insurance policy for ourselves and for our children. So that being said, it's like you're giving it's like you're giving somebody a check even after you pass away. So I just became aware of this situation where one of the person who's in the company, his grandma purchased a life insurance policy. So even though his grandma, is passed away right now, and then that policy is being paid, was paid to the trust. And so the trust itself then is responsible for distributing that fund. So which means every time he has a major, I guess, life event. Maybe he's getting married, he's graduating college, he's going to school, he's buying a home. Every time a major life event is going on in his life, he gets a check.
Mm.
He gets a check. So basically, his grandma passed away, but he's getting checks from his grandma. And he
Wow.
didn't even know about that. Okay, this man had a beautiful wedding. So can you imagine you maybe you get sick or maybe you pass away and you continue to provide for your loved one, you continue to create generational wealth because that's what we need in our society. That's what we need in our community. We have to position our family, we have to position our children so that they have the resources to go ahead and thrive. Because if they are competing with people who have those resources, but then they have to struggle for everything, they're in a disadvantage. And we can do something about that. And it is time we choose to do something about that. You
Mm.
guys should put me for president. So, with that being said, did you have any questions for me, Daphne?
No, that's
No.
I think that's it.
So, with that being said, let's go to the Bible, y'all. I don't know, Daphne. So, I have a few Bible verses for you all. Okay. So on the Bible it says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. I'm not sure if any of you have heard that before. Okay. So this is not me. A good man leaves an inheritance for his children, not only his children's children. So that's why we have to be good men. We have to, I mean, like I told you about this grandma, that was his children's children. Okay? And then the other one I have for you is my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Daphne and I, we are bringing the knowledge. We here every Wednesday, right, Daphne?
Yes.
We here every Wednesday and we're bringing this knowledge to you all. And then so it's time that you and I we take advantage of this information. And then the other one is the poor man and the oppressor have this in common. That's Proverbs 29:13. I should have given you the other ones. The poor man and the oppressor have this in common. The Lord gives sight to the eyes of both. This information is available to all of us. Whether we poor, whether we rich, we all have access to this information. So whether we choose to take advantage of it or not, or let another group of people take advantage of it, and now we are at a disadvantage, obviously there's a lot that goes into that, but then there's something we can do about that. So that's what I wanted to add. And I'm just gonna finish it up by a quote that one of the I guess the leaders in my company, her name is Jasmine Swazo. She said, I'm gonna have to read it to you all because this was so good. She said, procrastination is the arrogant assumption that God will give you another chance in the future to do something that He purposed you to do today. That's Jasmine Swazo. Procrastination is the arrogant assumption that God will give you another chance in the future to do something that he purposed you to do today. So I'm gonna leave it at that. September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. And Daphne and I wanted to come in so that we can have a conversation about this important topic. So we have done the work right now. We've provided the knowledge. So now whether you choose to take it or not, it is out of our hands. But we do know that we'll be here every Wednesday. Daphne is an attorney, So she will always come here to bring valuable information on how you can thrive with wills, real estate, trust, all of those immigration. She's an immigration attorney as well. So definitely, if that's something that you need help with, definitely information is 847-410-9022, or you can email her at daphne@chameleonlaw.com. She's being generous and providing 20-minute at no cost consultation. So if you want to take advantage of it, go ahead and reach out to her. And as I explained earlier, the life insurance industry needs people who can be educators. At the end of the day, we are not salespeople, we are educators, we are advocates for families, we are advocates for communities. So if you see this is something that you might be interested in learning. This is a field that you see yourself being able to share with your loved one and share with your community. Get in touch with me and we can see if we are a good fit for one another. That's all I have. Daphne, do you want to add anything else?
No, just that next week, so we alternate weeks. So next week I will just be discussing the latest on what's going on in immigration news.
Okay.
And if you have any questions for myself, or you have any suggestions or you're interested in me speaking on a particular immigration issue, legal issue, please go ahead and DM Renee or I on Facebook, or you can also reach out to us on YouTube. And what else was I going to say? And that was it. I will be discussing an immigration issue next week, and the week after, Renee will be discussing an insurance topic, and we'll be going from week to week, just kind of going back and forth with different issues. So if you guys have any questions, is even if you have questions for Renee, she can address it next week on Wednesday, and we can go from there.
Well, that sounds wonderful. Well, thank you, Daphne. I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate all of you who like this, who love this, who's been watching. I see the love, I feel the love. And the best way you can show us that you appreciate this is by sharing it on your page, sharing it with your loved ones. So therefore, all of us can have this vital information. So that's it for now. My name is Winnie Antoine, and with the lovely Daphne Chameleon, we will see you next week. Good night, everyone. See you next week. Bye bye.